Bismillah, as-salatu as-salam wa Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My name is Saied Arvanetes. I am the Vice President and Director of Outreach for Uplift Dawah. Alhamdulillah, we are a global organization that started here in Seattle. Alhamdulillah, I'm joined today with Abdul Wali, who invited me to join his show. It's to help promote a lot of the things for the youth, to give them encouragement, give them role models, give them good stories to follow. Alhamdulillah, for his community and the Somali community, by the will of Allah, and basically the greater Muslim community as well, to provide as much positive media and different feeds that will help them see as many positive role models as they can find and good stories to attach themselves to, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm honored to be a part of this mission that he explained to me prior to starting our video, and by the will of Allah, I want to do my part, and I'm just happy to be a part of this program. And what I'm going to do is basically tell you my story, and I'd like to start a little bit where we met, me and Abdul Wali. Alhamdulillah, we met in Pullman at Washington State University. That's where I pursued my civil engineering degree, and I did finish. Alhamdulillah, it wasn't easy, but I didn't give up. Alhamdulillah, and I could even give some positive feedback on what it took to get that degree, because honestly, I wasn't really good in math beginning that degree. However, I had a goal, and when I went in, I had a goal to finish. And regardless of what the challenges were, I was going to make sure I got that degree. And so, alhamdulillah, getting to WSU, I found that there was a sizable Muslim community there, and it was really great to meet a lot of different Muslims from literally what we used to say, 52 different nations. And so, alhamdulillah, it was an honor to meet so many different kind of Muslims, and I really surrounded myself with a variety of people from different countries, alhamdulillah, and it gave me a glimpse as well into new things that I haven't seen, and it was warm to feel welcome to different people's communities, and on the inside of things, and just be invited for dinners, and I'll never forget those moments, alhamdulillah. And alhamdulillah, ended up helping restart the MSA over there, and Abdul Wali was close to me during all those times, and so we got close to each other because we're both people of the deen, really. We could see that there was a lot of work that needed to be done, and so we worked as hard as we could, and alhamdulillah, by the will of Allah, we got a good team of brothers together, really strong guys that really put a lot of effort in, and you might know some of them. They're in our community. Abdurrahman, he does big power electrical now. Malik, really good brother, alhamdulillah, Egyptian, mashallah, really on the ball with everything we did. Another Abdurrahman from Libya, alhamdulillah, he got his PhD now. Brother Roby was with us, Ashraf, and it was really a lot of great brothers all came together and just, did a lot of good work, and of course Abdul Wali as well, and we worked as hard as we could, we pushed. Of course, can't forget Brother Talal, alhamdulillah, mashallah, probably one of the greatest brothers you're ever going to meet on planet Earth. I pray by the will of Allah, he makes it to Seattle soon enough. Got to get him a nice dinner. But ultimately, just, I don't want to forget anybody, but at the same time, as you can see, I could keep going. And that's what it takes to really do something successful. And we did find success there, alhamdulillah. I think we won. By the time I left, the MSA had won 2 awards for being one of the best clubs in the school. We landed an office that's still used right now for Salat. There's still programs that are continuing that we left behind, alhamdulillah. And I started in 2010, it's 2020, so alhamdulillah, 10 years later you still see the fruits of your labor, and that's how you know it was a successful team. And that's pretty much the lesson out of that experience, was working in a team, no longer just doing dawah all by yourself, but really learning how to organize yourself and become a part of a group of people that systemically meet, on a scheduled basis to make plans together and then make sure you implement the plans you come up with, right? And having different things a part of your process to help you develop, such as brainstorming, trial and error, and just different things that, you know, you're going to see what works, what doesn't work. But ultimately, there's a lot of barakah that's going to come when you're with the Jamaat, right? And that's really what it's about. And corporate America has learned this a long time ago, and they work in their Jamaats, right, together. And they're using the barakah in working as teams to do what their mission is. And so as Muslims, we should be the first and the foremost of people to work together in teams and in groups, not seeking anything else except to really please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you keep that mission and you keep that goal and you keep reminding yourself of your intention, of your goals, what I found is that we would find success from that, right? Moving forward, carrying on outside of WSU, then finally, alhamdulillah, I started one of my first Dawah groups in Vancouver, BC. I wasn't able to really stay up there. I'm not Canadian, and I never got my Canadian citizenship despite being married. That's a whole other story, alhamdulillah, and that'll be a whole other video. We'll call it the border crossings.
Sure.
Alhamdulillah, by the will of Allah, it was good to, work in groups there. We had tables out. Alhamdulillah, I started to pick up, and it was just all out of one masjid over there. Small place, alhamdulillah. And then, moving back into the States again, basically started another organization called NADT, North American Dawah, NADT, North American Dawah Team. Sorry, it's been that long, so I almost forgot about it. But alhamdulillah, and it was the same formula, start up tables, get people involved, and try to join people together for the sake of really delivering the message of Islam. And alhamdulillah, starting to find success in that as well, little by little. Nothing is overnight. To kind of speak on that a little bit, I think a lot of people get discouraged a little bit too quickly. And I can give you a few keys and tips on how not to get discouraged in whatever it is you're pursuing, but especially with dawah, especially with anything to do for the sake of Allah, where you're getting your deeds. One of the key things to always remember is, despite any success that you see, which we're all seeking success in anything we do, you want to see a shahada. You want to see somebody interested in you to at least talk about Islam that day, right? You want someone to at least take a flyer, right? You want these little things, and this is normal, right? This is how humans operate. We operate on, the premise of working and then getting something in return that we can see that we can call success, right? However, to keep yourself motivated and operational in the field of dawah, one of the things you're going to have to equip yourself with is sincerity. Alhamdulillah, we have to purify our intentions at all times. And actually, to be honest, this is going to be the hardest part of dawah. The work of dawah is not the hardest part. Learning how to do dawah is not the hardest part. Not to say we don't have to do those. Of course we have to. However, the work is the easy part. The intention is the hard part, actually. La ilaha illallah. It's a constant struggle, and it's a constant battle. And if you're not fighting that battle, you're probably losing. So may Allah protect us. Alhamdulillah. So how do we protect ourselves? How do we fight that battle? You're constantly checking your intention, right? You should check your intention before you do an action. You should check your intention while you're doing an action. And you should check your intention after you've done the action, right? This is the process to make sure that what you're doing is inshallah being accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? You're constantly monitoring your own heart, your own nafs, and reflecting, right? You're reflecting on yourself, you're reflecting on your feelings, right? Why did you feel a certain way when this or that happened, right? Why were your actions not in line with the progress of dawah, right? Let's say you're at a dawah table, right? And ultimately, someone is talking to the person, and then all of a sudden, you might cut them off, right? Now, that's not the thing to do in dawah, but maybe you couldn't help yourself. And I'm guilty of it. Even Yusuf, he gets mad at me sometimes. Not very much, because, I know better than to cut off, the president frequently. You can get away with that sometimes, alhamdulillah, but we're close. But basically, I'm being a little funny, alhamdulillah. I've done it. I'm guilty. I'm guilty as charged, right? I'm a cutter offer sometimes. I just can't help myself. I have to jump right in. And I'm here to preach that you shouldn't really do that. Sometimes it could be a smooth transition, though. It really, honestly, working in teams, you guys got to know how to work together. But the point I'm making here, before I got sidetracked, is basically what I'm trying to say is, even if it does happen and you get cut off, somebody jumps right in, if you react in a bad way now, you might be upset because nobody likes that. But if you start now turning this into a toxic conversation, you got to ask yourself, who are you doing this for anyway, right? It's nothing to get really that upset about. It's something that can wait. You can talk to this guy after the fact and say, brother, next time don't do that. But if you're erupting and you're like, brother, you just cut me off. Now, how does that look to the person now? They're looking at two guys arguing. How are they supposed to teach them their religion, right? You have to hold your temper for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have to realize that being patient in that moment when something has angered you the most is really when you're going to collect all your deeds. You see what I'm saying? So the goal is to purify your heart constantly and understand that no matter what is irritating you that day, whatever hardships come, it's going to get cold. Your hands are starting to feel a little bit chilly and nippy, and you're not comfortable, right? But you make your dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You start to remember, I'm getting a reward far greater for every second that I'm standing in this location than any human being can ever come and pay me. Those are the things you have to remind yourself with, right? You're doing this for the sake of Allah, and Allah is rewarding you immensely, and you have to understand that this is the truth. And when you realize that, it doesn't feel cold anymore. I promise. I've done this. And, but sometimes it gets too cold, and no matter what you tell yourself, it's still cold. So I'm not trying to say cold will disappear, but what I'm trying to say is, to be honest with you, alhamdulillah, when you're thinking of the reward from Allah, when you're looking in the sky and you're reflecting on Allah and realizing, I'm not even talking to anybody right now. I'm not even passing out a flyer. Nobody's taking anything from me. However, I'm getting paid by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and rewarded on a level that I can't even calculate. Imagine, Bill Gates comes to the table and starts writing $1 million check every 5 minutes and puts it in your hand. You realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rewarding you far greater than that. And, it's good for us to learn our deen as much as we can, to learn why everything matters so much, why time matters so much, right? We have to get a better perspective, right? From an Islamic perspective, to understand what's really what. That's what gives us the understanding that the hardship we're going through today means absolutely nothing compared to what's awaiting for us in the terms of the reward from Allah in the hereafter. Or the other side of the coin, the punishments that we could be avoiding. And the Prophet ﷺ said that if somebody could see the reward of those who have struggled the most on the day of judgment, those who were poor, then they would want to come back to this life and have their skins cut. And that's one of the few powerful hadiths I always like to remember constantly, because you realize that what you're going through today is just a painful experience. It's not the end of the world. You could be backed up on your bills. You can have 20 people calling you saying, hey, you owe me money. Where's my money? Where's my money? You can have debt collectors calling you. You can have everybody threatening and trying to scare the living pants off of you to where you feel like you're losing your mind. And how do you get through those moments in your life when Allah is going to test you, right? You have to understand this is all temporary. So moving forward, this is the most important part of Dawah, is understanding its purpose, understanding its hardship, realizing that the struggle today, it's not just temporary, but it's going to provide a reward beyond your wildest dreams. Once you get that down packed, and I'm not saying it'll ever be down packed, we're always working to improve, but once you kind of start to understand that, I'll tell you now why that, or how that's worked for me. As I told you already, we found success collectively together as a team in Pullman with the MSA at Washington State University. It worked, having that mindset, having that team spirit together to work on a common goal. It worked, and we found a lot of success that still today you can go and still see these signs. These are amazing things that will let you know that the time you spent in this world had a very powerful meaning to it. There's nothing more meaningful than working today and seeing something continuously now flowing like a river for you for the rest of your life and even into eternity, right? La ilaha illallah. Nothing could be more rewarding, to be honest. I don't care what job you have or what career path you've chosen or direction you're heading. That's a part of being a human being, and this is Islam. Islam is literally here to provide you the happiest moments you could achieve, even while you're alive in this world. Alhamdulillah, Allah is far more merciful than we'll ever be able to actually comprehend, calculate, or understand. So seeking the mercy of Allah is beyond rewarding in a way we won't comprehend. And it sometimes takes years, guys. That's what a lot of people might not realize. Starting now from NADT, going into Uplift Dawah, alhamdulillah, people of Dawah are attracted to each other, right? I was very attracted to Yusuf when he was doing Uplift Dawah, and I would always make it a point to come and visit him, and I had to see, what are you up to? And, monitor, how's it coming along? You're keeping track of each other, you're watching each other, you're just, keeping track. Alhamdulillah, this is what you do. And la ilaha illallah, ultimately, him and Robert, were basically growing at the same time. And I was starting to see their progress, and it attracted me. And I didn't make any mention of anything as far as joining, but Yusuf could probably feel it, and alhamdulillah, he sat me down in his car one day, we're together, and he said, why don't you join Uplift Dawah, And I said, why would you want me, what do you think I have to offer? And he said, he says, I see something special in you, man. I honestly do. And I think if we work together, I think we could accomplish a lot. And he talked it over with Robert, and I thought about it. I had to think about it. There goes something I started myself called NADT, right? I had to sacrifice that if I was going to do this. And so there was one thought really that echoed in my mind the whole entire time. If I'm trying to accomplish this da'wah, right? If that's what I'm really doing this for, if my goal is really to accomplish the mission statement for what I want to see happen with this da'wah, which is ultimately reach the people on the ground, right? Deliver Islam to them in a real way, right? And to give them, a real option in their life to say, you could leave kufr behind forever, and you can embrace Islam, and you could be a Muslim, and you could never have to veer back to disbelief, inshallah. But you could be someone who says, I believe, right? I understand. This makes sense to me now. I want to worship the one true God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? That was my goal. I wanted the people to hear the true and clear message of Islam. Not watered down and not over exemplified, right? But just for what it really was, right? To give them a chance to say, this is the truth. I've thought about it. What you're saying makes sense. I want to accept this. I want to follow what's best for me. This is what I wanted to accomplish, right? And ultimately, alhamdulillah, I thought about it, and the thought in my mind that echoed was, why not join together and form a bigger fist? You see what I'm saying? And so, alhamdulillah, basically, over and over again, and I spoke it over with my mentor, Uncle Faisal, alhamdulillah. He's always been there for me since I met him, alhamdulillah, incredible person, and of course, a person of da'wah, a person who takes care of the orphans. So, if you notice, we all kind of find each other in this world. These hearts, they find each other that do the similar work, right? It's not an accident. So if you get into this work, you're going to find the same people. And those are the types of people that are going to surround you as well. And those are going to be the best companions to have in this world to help you increase your deeds. Right? There's nobody as a companion that you want better. I swear by Allah. Not somebody that's got money, not somebody that has prestige, nobody that has clout, or nobody that knows this or that, or can hook you up with this or whatever. I know everybody thinks those are the people you want to meet. But to be very frank with you, and to just, if you could believe me or not, you know, everyone thinks they're trying to just convince somebody, but just in my honest, what I'm telling you from everything I know, the greatest companions you can find in this life are those who are going to get you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're going to remind you of Allah. And they're going to make you want to strive harder in your religion, right? Because you see them accomplishing things in their deen. You see them making Islamic accomplishments, right? You know, the mu'mins are always after trying to get greater deeds for themselves. And if you surround yourself with those kind of people, wallahi, those are going to be the greatest companions you could ever find in this life. Those should be the closest people to you. And that's my honest, sincere opinion. Alhamdulillah. But moving on, I thought about it, you know, and all I could think was, why not join a bigger fist, right? Why have two separate organizations and they're, you know, still growing stages? You join together, and I think that would make a lot, you know, more sense, right? It made more sense. Alhamdulillah. And so I did. And wallahi, I gotta honestly say that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Wallahi. So alhamdulillah, we joined together and we stuck it out, you know, and that's it. And Yusuf just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and, you know, both of us together. And alhamdulillah, eventually, you see, we grew and people started to join. And now we're basically a global organization here that is very organized, and we have a complete board all together that, you know, everyone has their jobs and their duties, and, you know, it all sounds like something you can take for granted, but you got to realize, going back to the beginning, couldn't even, you know, imagine the celebration we would have just to get one person to want to wear a t-shirt or something, you know. I mean, it's just, and this is before we even had t-shirts. So ultimately, you know, when the growth comes and you see the results of your hard work, you realize that's the greatest thing you can do for your life, is work hard for the sake of Allah and see the residual deeds that He will provide for you. And, you know, if you're not striving to get to Jannah with every day that you live, you've wasted that day. It's lost. And I encourage every Muslim to get into Dawah on some degree, some level, somewhere where you fit in the best. Right? Not everybody is cut in the same shape. Some people are great at talking to others with Dawah. Others, they're better behind the scenes. Maybe they're good at just doing research and helping put flyers together and editing the information on them, or working on the website, or there's just an unlimited amount of items to work on, right? And there's no position that's not as important as the next. It literally took every person in this building to build the building we're in right now, right? This is my office, which I was the field manager here, and alhamdulillah, I was able to deck that touch this place. Otherwise, this building wouldn't be here. Couldn't just have, you know, the project manager, which is my partner Kanan, alhamdulillah, a really close brother to me. Imagine if Kanan came out here every day by himself, and he knew how to do it all. He has all the plans, you know, he understands exactly what to do, but if there's nobody to lift the rebar, or there's nobody to, you know, pour the concrete or make the forms, I mean, think about it. The beauty of Islam, which is different than the dunya, in the dunya, obviously the wages vary depending on what job you have. The project manager was making more, obviously, than the carpenter on the ground. And the carpenter on the ground was making more than the laborer, right? It's all adjusted wages. But the Prophet ﷺ says, whoever makes somebody to do a good deed or abhors somebody to do a good deed, right? Encourages them for that deed, then he will get the same reward for that deed, right, as that person that's doing it, without neither of their deeds being diminished at all. You see what I'm saying? And so you're getting an equal reward. This is the power of dawah, guys, right? So let's say you pass out a flyer and somebody takes that flyer and they read it, their mind changes a little bit. Well, then they get home and they drop that flyer on the table. The dad picks it up, he reads it, changes his mind a little bit, right? He leaves it. The wife takes it, right? Say she has to go and get to work. And then she's on the bus. She's reading it. She finishes it. She leaves it on the seat on the bus. Someone else picks it up. And then you never know, right? Somebody comes Muslim out of this one flyer, and you've passed out thousands of flyers because you do it consistently. As the Prophet ﷺ said, the best of deeds are those that are done consistently, even though they may be small. So it's not about building your Jannah overnight, right? It's about working towards it on a consistent basis. Alhamdulillah. But basically, getting back to my example, if one of those people just became Muslim off reading that one flyer that you happened to pass out that day, then every time that person reads Quran, every time that person prays, every time that person gives sadaqah, every time that person makes hajj, you're going to get the same reward as if you're doing it, right? And that's how you want to work. You want to work smarter. So working in dawah is actually working smarter, right? And so ultimately, I think that's pretty much the story I wanted to share with you guys about my journey into dawah, or through dawah, and into Uplift Dawah that I'm with now, and some success that we found, and we want to continue to get a lot more. I believe we're just at the tip of the iceberg, and I want others to get encouraged by the will of Allah to continue doing what they can to get involved. If you want to get involved with Uplift Dawah, you can contact any of us at upliftdawah.org. That's uplift and then dawah with an H at the end, .org, and contact us, and you can get involved with us, and you can contact Abdul Wali. What he's doing now is dawah for the youth, and support him. Be a part of what he's doing. He's going to, inshallah, by the will of Allah, literally, by the will of Allah, I pray, he's going to help change the lives and the projections of as many of the youth as possible. And can you understand? Instead of doing haram, he's going to change it by the will of Allah, right, into something good, and he's going to get the full reward for all of that. Join this brother and help him in that mission while he's just starting. And imagine everything that comes after. 20 years from now, someone else that's picking up a video camera, you'll get the reward for that, inshallah. So get involved, guys. Don't let time get away from you. We have no time to waste. And, life is short, but Jannah is for eternity. So I pray that Allah will guide us all. And Jazakallah khair. And thank you very much.